Iron Man and the Wasp come to Hank Pym's laboratory at Grayburn College. There is a terrible mess in the laboratory. Hank Pym meets the guests. He looks bad. Pym wants to show Tony his new invention. He has developed a new prison for villains. Tony considers this invention a bad idea. Stark offers Pym to work with him in a circle of friends. To the request of Stark is joined by the Wasp. Hank is disappointed with this reaction and asks his friends to leave. Stark and the Wasp are walking down the corridor when suddenly an explosion is heard in Pym's laboratory. Tony covers the Wasp from the wreckage. The laboratory is destroyed and only laboratory glasses remain from Pym. The Avengers and other heroes meet at the opening of the monument to Ant-Man. Tony makes a speech in honor of the deceased Hank. The upset Wasp departs from the others to the Grove. Nick Fury finds her there. He needs to talk to Tony Stark. Stark comes and Fury informs him that the explosion in the laboratory was not an accident. The Colonel passes the remnants to the Avengers an explosive device. The Avengers gather at their base. Jarvis scans the device and Pym's last halyards. Hank has recently been following a criminal group called the Snake Society. The Avengers are heading to the villains' lair to deal with the villains and find the prototype that Pym was developing. Stark asks the Wasp not to interfere. Captain America and the Panther arrive at the specified coordinates. They find fresh tracks. A scream is heard. One of the members of the Snake Society is attacked by an unknown person. He calls himself a Hornet. The Hornet points a gun at the villain, but the Captain and the Panther intervene. The Hornet engages in a fight with the Avengers. He manages to distract them with a swarm of Hornets and shoot at the villain. He disappears in a yellow flash. The Hornet is attacked by a Wasp. He flies away and the Wasp rushes in pursuit. Janet catches up with the enemy on the roof and shoots energy rays at him. The Hornet destroys the barrel on the roof and fills the Wasp with water. The Hornet flies away, and the Wasp discovers a mechanical Hornet on his arm. The Wasp believes that the Hornet is Hank Pym. At the Avengers base, Janet makes his assumptions, but the Avengers doubt, because the Hornet does not look like Pym either in physique or radiation from the suit. Hawkeye watches the news. They show how the Hornet deals with the rest of the Snake Society. Journalists are already calling him a hero. Barton is caught doing this by the Panther. Jarvis reports that Thor has discovered the Hornet. Clint and the Panther rush to the scene of the fight. The Hornet fights with the Cobra and annihilates it. At this time, Thor arrives and shoots. The Hornet is hit by lightning. The Hornet flies away. Thor rushes in pursuit. The Avengers rush to Thor's aid on a Quinjet. The Hornet hides from Thor in an empty building. The God of Thunder bursts into the room and throws a hammer at the enemy. The Hornet shoots the hammer and Thor's weapon disappears. Thor rushes at the enemy with bare hands and the yellow ray hits the Avenger's chest. Thor disappears. The Avengers who arrived at the scene see it. The Wasp rushes to the Hornet and tears off his mask. Hank Pym turns out to be under it. The Avengers ask him to stop, but the Hornet refuses to put away his weapon. Stark shoots from the repulsor. White and yellow rays collide. Everyone present disappears in a bright flash. On the floor, only a small prototype of the microtherma remains. The Avengers and Hornet find themselves inside Pym's device. Thor meets them here. Hank says he didn't kill anyone. His gun carried the villains into the microprison, and now because of Stark they all ended up here. Stark inspects the cells in which the captured members of the Snake Society are sitting. The prison begins to shrink. Hornet says that his gun he served as the only way out, and now everyone who is in prison will be crushed. Explosions are heard and the villain cells open. Stark offers the Snake Society to unite for salvation, but Cobra commands to attack. The Avengers fight the Snake Society. Captain America deals with Cobra. Hornet knocks Constrictor out and saves Stark. Eagle-Eye binds the Bushmaster. Panther and Thor deal with the rest. The prison shrinks faster. Constrictor grabs the Wasp and threatens to kill her. The Hornet saves the girl and finally becomes the Hank she knew. Only Pym can save everyone from the trap. Pym takes the Avenger card from the Panther on which his biometric data remained. Then he asks Stark to open access to his reactor. Tony does not want to do this. Pym explains that the prison is configured only for his bioparameters, and if you connect the card to Tony's reactor, then Hank will be able to get everyone out of prison. Stark agrees. The prison walls shrink. Thor and others try to slow down the compression. Hank attaches the card to the reactor in Iron Man's chest. The Avengers take hands. The Wasp hugs Pym. The prison shrinks to the size of a dot and disappears in a bright flash. The Avengers they return to the abandoned building. The Wasp hugs Pym. Stark thanks him for saving him. The Avengers arrive at the monument to Pym. The Wasp believes that the monument will have to be removed. Hank objects. Because that Pym is no more, now there is a Hornet. Hank says that he is ready to return to the Avengers as a Hornet. Stark does not like this idea. Jarvis reports a cluster of mole people and the Hornet rushes to the crime scene, followed by the rest of the Avengers. The next day, in the laboratory under the Avengers mansion, Tony Stark is repairing the Vision. Captain America is next to him. Stark scans the Vision to make sure that there are no surprises left in the robot from Ultron. Stark orders Jarvis to launch the Vision auto repair program. The android will be fully restored in 30 days. After the appointed time, Vision wakes up in the Avengers mansion. He inspects the rooms, but the mansion is empty. Vision goes up to the roof and sees that Stark's robots are patrolling the city. Tony's portrait is on a huge shield. Vision sees Stark's tower shrouded in purple radiance. Stark, Captain America, and Thor are standing in Tony's office. Cap congratulates Tony. Stark managed to fix the world. Vision returns to the lab and asks Jarvis to contact the Avengers. Jarvis does not respond. Vision reboots Jarvis. Artificial intelligence reports that it was disabled for 2 weeks on Stark's orders. Vision wants to know what happened while he was disabled. Jarvis reports that 25 days ago Stark launched a satellite that provided energy to the whole world. Then Tony gave a speech at the UN, after which the UN was abolished. Within a week, Stark's company took over peacekeeping functions around the world. Stark's robot squadrons patrolled the whole world. In a short time, any resistance was suppressed. Branches of Stark Industries were opened all over the world. All pockets of resistance were suppressed. The Avengers are watching the carved regions. Stark, Thor, and Captain America remained in New York. At this moment, Vision is attacked by Captain America. Cap wants to destroy Vision. He understands that everything is not all right with the Captain. Vision manages to capture Cap and he projects on the screen the speech of the Captain, which he uttered at the Ultron base. The Captain comes to. The heroes are attacked by Stark's robots. Cap and Vision fight together. Thor and Stark are watching the fight from their office. Next to them is Kilgrave, who controls Tony's consciousness. Vision and the Captain destroy robots. Jarvis manages to report that more robots are approaching the mansion. Vision uploads Jarvis to his database. 2 huge robots destroy the mansion. The Captain and Vision manage to fly away from them. Vision reports that a strange energy is spreading around the world and everyone is under its influence. This is Kilgrave's energy. The Captain says that Kilgrave was arrested on the very day when Vision was sent for repairs. Kilgrave escaped from prison and forced Tony to create a satellite to spread its energy to the whole world. In Stark's office, Kilgrave orders Tony to order the destruction of Vision and Captain America. Tony tries to resist. Kilgrave is very angry at Tony for that arrest. Captain Marvel gets in touch and Tony orders her to kill Vision and Captain America. Captain Marvel and Hawkeye attack Vision and Cap. Captain Marvel grabs Vision and takes off high into the sky. Barton shoots at Captain America's airbike. Captain Marvel shoots at Vision with light beams. He responds with a laser shot. Hawkeye blows up the Captain's bike. Cap jumps on Clint's motorcycle and continues the fight. Clint presses the Captain to the dashboard and directs the bike down. Cap asks a friend to wake up. A second before, when Barton manages to free himself from Kilgrave's influence, the heroes jump off the bike. Captain Marvel sees the bike explode. The death of her friends brings her to her senses. The heroes get together. The Captain orders Clint, Carol, and Vision to find the Quinjet and destroy Stark's satellite, and he himself will go to Tony to save him. Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, and Vision discover the Quinjet and deal with the guards. Vision says that it wasn't so difficult. At this moment, clouds are gathering in the sky and Thor will attack friends. Cap bursts into Stark's office. Tony is ready to meet and attacks the Captain. A fight begins. Tony attacks Cap with lasers. Cap repels the rays with his shield. Kilgrave watches the fight. Barton, Vision, and Captain Marvel fight Thor. Vision stays to detain Thor. Clint and Danvers fly away on a Quinjet. Thor beats Vision with a hammer, but then Barton turns on the engines of the Quinjet and discards the God of Thunder. The Quinjet goes into space. Vision discovers a satellite that guards a large number of Stark robots. The Quinjet pursues Thor. Vision says that he will deal with Thor and leaves the Quinjet. He increases his density and collides with Thor. Vision imprints Thor into the ground, where it forms a huge funnel. Barton is already ready to destroy the satellite. But Captain Marvel again falls under the influence of Kilgrave's energy and attacks a friend. Clint still manages to make an accurate shot in the fight and destroy the satellite. Captain Marvel comes to his senses and releases Barton. Thor comes to his senses on Earth. Vision informs the God of Thunder that he was controlled by Kilgrave. Iron Man beats the Captain in Stark Tower, America. Iron Man throws the Captain to the floor and directs the laser beam directly into his face. Kilgrave orders Tony to kill a friend. Stark turns on the armor ventilation and frees himself from Kilgrave's influence. The laser beam throws the villain aside. Kilgrave tries to escape, but the Avengers who arrived at Stark Tower do not let him do it. Iron Man flicks his finger, knocks out Kilgrave. Captain America and Iron Man talk on the roof of the Avengers mansion. Tony promises to fix everything. Cap does not doubt his friend and believes that Stark can make the world a better place. Dear friends, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then put likes and subscribe to the channel. I love everyone.